In this edition of our Eastern Conference Power Rankings, how has the Sixers' tough week and the Celtics' uptick affected things? 1. Bucks 49-16, last ranking. 1. Milwaukee bounced back from a brutal loss to the lowly Suns. See, Sixers fans, good teams lose to bad teams sometimes. With a win over Pacers. The pickup of Nikola Mirotic looked like a big one, but he's been up and down since coming over from New Orleans. It could be a calf issue still lingering. If he returns to form, the Bucks become even scarier. 2. Raptors 46-19, last ranking. 2. Toronto has lost 2 in a row, but that was off the heels of them winning 9 out of 10. Appear locked into the 2 seed and probably locked into the no spot in our power rankings. Much like Mirotic for the Bucks, Marc Gasol has been up and down for the Raptors. It'll be interesting to see how that trade affects them in the playoffs. 3. Sixers 41-24, last ranking. 3. We're keeping the Sixers here despite late-game collapses against the Warriors and Bulls. They're 4-3 without Joel Embiid since the All-Star break, who will be out again Friday night against the Rockets. The 3 seed is still well within their grasp, and if Embiid returns Sunday against Indiana, that could be a huge boost for that cause. Yes, Boston has beaten them 3 times this season, but if Embiid is healthy, that March 20th matchup could look a lot different. 4. Celtics 40-26, last ranking. 4. Give credit to Boston. The Celtics were imploding and it looked like their season was going to spiral out of control. Instead, they crushed the Warriors and held off the pesky Kings to begin their West Coast swing. I still think they're a better team, and match up better against the Sixers without Kyrie Irving. We'll see. 5. Pacers 42-24, last ranking. 5. Speaking of teams that deserve credit for hanging in there, Indiana is still clinging to the 3 seed without Victor Oladipo. The Pacers have come back down to earth, but neither the Sixers nor the Celtics have been able to take advantage. With that said, Indiana's remaining schedule is tough and the Sixers can win the season series with a win Sunday. 6. Nets 34-33, last ranking. 6. Brooklyn won 2 in a row after dropping 3 straight. More importantly, Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert are back and starting to round into form. The Nets aren't likely going to upset a 3 seed, but they'll be a pesky out. 7. Pistons 32-31, last ranking. 7. Detroit is on fire, having won 10 of its last 12. The Pistons supporting cast is finally starting to give Blake Griffin some help. Reggie Jackson looks like the player he was when he first got to Detroit. Jackson is averaging 18.9 points while shooting 50% from the field and 49% from 3 over his last 13 games. 8. Heat 30-34, last ranking. 10. Miami has won 3 in a row and is currently winning the race to be swept by Milwaukee in the first round. 9. Magic 30-36, last ranking. 9. Orlando had a couple impressive wins and gave the Sixers a game Tuesday night, but have lost 2 in a row. With how volatile the teams competing for the final seed are, the Magic are still very much in it. 10. Hornets 29-35, last ranking. 8. Charlotte has lost 7 of 9 and I continue to feel so bad for Kemba Walker. 11. Wizards 27-37, last ranking. 11. Ditto, Bradley Beal. At least they got out of Otto Porter Jr.'s contract. Wait, Porter is playing the best basketball of his NBA career and the Bulls are showing signs of life. Oh. 12. Hawks 22-44, last ranking. 12. Atlanta is the best of the worst and Trae Young continues to his upward trend. Since the All-Star break, Young has averaged 28.5 points and 8.6 assists while shooting 44% from 3. 13. Bulls 19-47, last ranking. 13. Chicago is nipping at Atlanta's heels. The Bulls are 7-3 with Porter Jr. in the lineup and Zach LaVine and Lauri Markkanen are showing off their offensive talents. Chicago has a little something going here. 14 Cavs, 16-49. Last ranking, 14 Colin Sexton looks like he may be legit. That's all I got. 15 Knicks, 13-52. Last ranking, 15. They're officially eliminated from the playoffs, but in the driver's seat for Zion Williamson. Click here to download the My Teams app by NBC Sports. Receive comprehensive coverage of your teams and stream the Flyers, Sixers and Phillies games easily on your device. More on the Sixers. The Houston Rockets, 39-25, are hosting the Philadelphia 76ers, 41-24, tonight at the Toyota Center. Joel Embiid will miss his 8th consecutive game with knee soreness, and Amir Johnson is expected to start in his place. Boban Marjanovic remains out with a bone bruise, mild sprain in his right knee. Ben Simmons, gastroenteritis, did not attend shoot-around this morning and is listed as questionable. When 8 p.m. ET with Sixers pre-game live at 7 p.m. where Toyota Center broadcast, NBC Sports Philadelphia live stream, NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com and the NBC Sports My Teams app. Here are 3 storylines to watch. Defend the 3. The Rockets take and make the most threes in the league, and it's not even close, averaging over 15 made threes per game on almost 45 attempts. With 2 of the top 10 three-point shooters in James Harden and Eric Gordon, defending the 3 will be huge for the Sixers tonight. Lucky for them, Philadelphia has been largely successful in that area, with opponents averaging just 10.0 made threes per game, second best in the NBA. The last time around, the Sixers handled the Rockets in their last matchup at Wells Fargo Center, but Houston was also without Chris Paul and Clint Capella, while the Sixers were without Jimmy Butler. Sixers did have Embiid though, who got to the free throw line 17 times, and Landry Shamet, who has since been traded in a deal for Tobias Harris, who shot 7-13 from the field and went off for 18 points in that game. The point I'm making is that tonight is a much different matchup than on January 21st, when the Sixers beat the Rockets by 28. James Ennis 3. Speaking of differences, Ennis 3 was also in a Rockets uniform in their last matchup. Since acquiring him last month, Brett Brown said there is still a tournament of sorts for that backup wing slot. Ennis had a strong showing in Chicago the other night, finishing with 11 points and 7 rebounds off the bench. I'll be curious to see how Brown uses him tonight. For those interested, I also wrote a little something about Ennis and the struggles he's gone through to make it to where he is today. See story. Click here to download the My Teams app by NBC Sports. Receive comprehensive coverage of your teams and stream the Flyers, Sixers and Phillies games easily on your device. More on the Sixers. James Ennis still can't quite believe he's made it to the NBA. I should have been on a different route. Not in the league. It's not that he didn't have the confidence in himself, he does, it's that all the odds were stacked against him. Growing up in Ventura, California, Ennis moved several times throughout his middle school years. First, it was Texas. 5 months later, Florida. As Ennis describes it, his family was just trying to find different situations to survive. It was hard for Ennis to get close to anyone since he moved so much. And basketball, as Ennis says, quickly became his escape. Ennis attended 3 different high schools, even sitting out his entire junior year. He went to adult education school and had trouble getting credit since he was moving before semesters were over. But that didn't stop his talent from getting noticed. He was one of the most talented, athletic kids to ever come through here in this county, Ennis' former Ventura College coach Joey Ramirez said. He was exceptionally gifted, he could do everything. By his senior year, Ennis knew basketball could be a serious way out for him, and that meant he could provide for his family. Ramirez remembers the first real conversation that he and Ennis had was about the reality of his situation and what he needed to do to care for his family. He had a really tough childhood, on all levels, family, socially, everything. He grew up in a very tough environment. Enes isn't forthcoming to offer details about his childhood, except that his father worked hard in construction and as a newspaper delivery man, while his mother worked at the fast food chain Arby's, until she was put on disability. But what he does say is that his youth was both rough and unstable. Which is why after Enes was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks with the 50th pick in 2013, but traded to the Miami Heat, who had plans to sign him to their developmental team, he quickly made a decision to go play overseas. More money, Enes says matter-of-factly of playing his first year for the Perth Wildcats in Australia. The G League didn't have money like that, and I needed more money to help my family. It's also why the proudest moment Enes has had as a professional basketball player was the day he bought his mother a house in Camarillo, California. This past summer, being able to see your mom and dad happy, he said. That's what it is about, helping your family. That's my main reason why we're here today. For now, on his sixth NBA team, Enes has quickly learned the business side of the NBA and is still trying to find his niche. As Brett Brown continues to experiment with his reserves, Enes will get a shot to compete for time as the playoffs near. He poured in 11 points and 7 rebounds off the bench in 17 minutes on Wednesday night. The most important thing that he brings every day is his joy, teammate Jimmy Butler said. He's always smiling, he loves to work. He stars in his role and he plays incredibly hard. That joy has been a little brighter these past 3 years. Thanks to his 3-year-old daughter, Malia Parker Enes. When I see her, all the problems go out the window, Enes said. When she smiles and calls my name, it makes everything a lot better. That's what it's all about, making sure that my daughter doesn't go through what I had to go through growing up. Click here to download the My Teams app by NBC Sports. Receive comprehensive coverage of your teams and stream the Flyers, Sixers and Phillies games easily on your device. More on the Sixers.